Okay, now that we've got some data in the system, we want to go over how to use some of the analytics functions. And to begin that, we'll look over at the far left-hand side of the screen again to the menu bar. And down at the bottom, you see the analytics button. So go ahead and touch that. And that's going to bring up a quick snapshot of how our goalies performed in overall or in specific games, depending on how we want to use the system. Right now, we're looking at a quick overview of how Joe performed in the last game. But we want to look at a different goalie who's got a bit more data in the system. So we're going to switch that by touching right underneath where you see the orange tab called General. Up at the top, you see Joe's name there. If I touch that, it brings up the entire list of goalies that we're studying in the system. So I'm going to choose Devin because we've got a bit more data about Devin. And if we watch there, when I selected Devin's name, the pie chart moves a little bit to incorporate what he's been looking at, how his performance has been. And we see the green for the saves that he's made and red for the goals that he's let in. And a quick overview of some of the data associated with that on the right-hand side of the box down there, including his save percentage down at the bottom. The image at the right with the goal and the goalie and the dots indicates where he's been successful in saving shots at different locations around the net. I will note that in this beta version that math is incorrect, and we'll fix that here in the next short bit. So that's a quick look at the overview. If I look back over the pie chart, I can touch different ways to look at this data. I can look at the shot plot that Devin's got. So those are all the shots that Devin's faced in the 2 games that he's been in. And then I can also look at a list view. It lists the 2 games that he's been involved with this year too, and that's actually downloadable into a spreadsheet program if you wanted to do that. But if I go back and look at the shot plot I might want to just take a look at what the last game that he played in looked like versus Kings. So in the top right-hand corner, you'll see a small button that says Filters. If I touch on Filters, it brings up a menu where I can start to segment out the data and take a look at specific things. In this instance, I want to look at how Devin performed against Kings. So up at the top, where it says Opponent's Team, I'm going to hit the button that says Exclude next to it. It's right now designating that that's not a filter that's being applied, but if I touch it, it's going to switch to green and says Include. I can touch the team that I want to select, the Kings, and then down at the bottom, I'll hit Apply. That takes away all the data that's not directly attributable to that specific game. So here's Devin's shot plot for the Kings. And again, if I touch the filters button again, you can start to see all the different ways I can look at the data in the system, including weather and some of the surface stuff, how we're doing grass versus turf, all the way down to what quarter we want to look at or how we're doing versus man up and man down situations and all across the way. But for right now, we're just looking at how Devin did versus the Kings. And again, I can go back and look at that in an overview way or in a list view way. Now, another nice feature of the system is if I look up at the top next to the General tab, you see Compare. If I touch Compare, it allows us to do a side-by-side comparison of the different goalies. So if I hit Select, I can say Goalie 1, I want to take a look at Devin. Goalie 2, I want to take a look at Joe. And then I'm going to go ahead and look at their overview charts side by side, or their shot plots side by side. I have a filter still applied here for Kings University, so if I want to take a look at how they've been doing for all the games that they've been playing, I can touch at the bottom of the screen where it says Clear All, then Apply, and you see that the shot plots are now show what they've been doing in their entirety. Joe's only seen 2 shots, but Devin's shot plot fills out nicely. Lastly, if I want to share some of this data, I can use some of the more common social media applications, or I can email it directly to the 2 goalies to let them know how they've been doing in the last couple games. Okay, so that's a quick overview of analytics. There's a lot you can do in here, and I'm interested actually to see in how you're all going to use it.